Hello there, dear friends, and welcome once again to the Relaxed Fantasy Review. On this channel, we spend our time looking at fantasy of all sorts, from movies to books to video games, and applying the characters within into the tabletop game Dungeons & Dragons 5th Edition. Today, though, we're going to be looking at a core mechanic of D&D itself, specifically the Cleric subclass known as the War Domain. The War Domain embodies the gods of conflict and conquest, empowering their followers to seek the path of violence and war, making them more powerful melee combatants. But how does that play out specifically? Let's have a look. As with all Cleric subclasses, they gain an expanded spell list. These are free spells at levels 1, 3, 5, 7, and 9 that they gain 2 per level. Each one empowers them in the War Domain. Everything from Shield of Faith, Spirit Guardians, Spiritual Weapon, Stone Skin, and even Hold Monsters in there. It's a pretty decent spell list. There's a couple duds that I really could give or take, but I give it a 7 out of 10 overall. Then they get some bonus proficiencies. As with many Cleric subclasses, they gain proficiency in heavy armor, but they also gain proficiency in martial weapons. This means they can wear any armor and use any weapon they want, meaning that they truly attain that frontline tanky damage-dealing status that the clerics always would strive for when they're on the front lines. This is a 10 out of 10 power, no questions asked. Their next power is War Priest. War Priest is an interesting one. Every time you make a weapon attack, you can use your bonus action to make another weapon attack. This sounds, on paper, kind of similar to the extra attack feature, but it really isn't. Instead, you hit someone, and then you have to spend your bonus action to hit them again. A dual wielder could do this just as easily. It's nice to weaponize your bonus action while still wearing a shield, so there's no complaint there, but I don't understand why the War Domain just didn't get extra attack. Like, that's a much better function, and then that would leave their bonus action free. So, definitely not the best it could be. Still, weaponizing bonus action's good. So, 7 out of 10. Then comes one of their Channel Divinities, the Guided Strike. The Channel Divinity power allows them to use their Channel Divinity for a specific attack that they make to add plus 10 to the attack. This means that pretty much any attack that would miss will now hit. Even something where you roll a super low number on the die. Just adding your strength or dex mod and then another plus 10 will usually guarantee a hit. And against a boss monster, if you have to make a critical strike near very crucial points in the battle, this can be absolutely fantastic. I give it a 9 out of 10. But then comes the War God's Blessing. This is the same power as Guided Strike. It's actually a Channel Divinity as well, except that plus 10, you can apply it to your allies as well. This is phenomenal. Whether you are talking about the wizard hitting a crucial spell, or you're talking about the barbarian hitting a crucial attack, or the paladin hitting a crucial smite, or the rogue hitting a crucial sneak attack, whatever. Using your Channel Divinity to just guarantee that hit when you really need it the most can be clutch in pretty much any combat, especially when you're fighting boss monsters. This is 10 out of 10 territory right here. Then they get their Divine Strike. Divine Strike deals extra weapon damage in this case. A lot of other clerics get extra elemental damage added, but these ones just do more damage with their weapon. An extra 1d8 at level 8, and then at level 14, 2 extra d8. This can be a little harsh when you're fighting enemies that are resistant to regular weapons, whereas other clerics would get elemental damages added. This just adds extra piercing, slashing, or bludgeoning as appropriate. So it's not quite as good as some other clerics get, but it's still extra damage, so we shouldn't complain. It's 9 out of 10. And then finally, at 17th level, the Avatar of Battle power. This is just a flat resistance to piercing, slashing, and bludgeoning damage. And it's permanent. It's not like the Barbarian's Rage, where it lasts a minute, or any sort of spell. It's just permanent. You just are resistant to weapons. Granted, at high levels, you aren't always fighting enemies wielding swords and, bows, but it's still amazing. Resistance to damage is always good. So, 10 out of 10 for that. This means that clerics at this level don't need to fear regular enemies for the most part. And that's it. Once you crunch all the numbers together, the War Cleric is a pretty good addition to the battle. It's got a little hiccups here and there, but I give it a 9 out of 10 overall. It's well worth the frontline status that a lot of clerics aim for, and it certainly can be up there with the fighters and the paladins, taking the hits, dishing them out, and just maximizing their weapon use. And obviously they still have the cleric spell list, so you can't complain about that. This is a 9 out of 10 class, for sure. This has been the Relaxed Fantasy Review. If you enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe down below, and keep your eyes out for more subclasses coming down the line very soon. Have a good one, my friends.